Now, besides the tip of the iceberg, which is pretty much the 2D, 3D information and all this visual amazing stuff we got in BIM, we also got the other part of the iceberg, which are protocols and protocols of information. We got different protocols to specify how you want to classify your elements following specific nomenclature, which will depend, of course, the country you are located in. We also got protocols to categorize the definition of the model with terms called, for example, the LOD, which stands for the level of definition. In other countries, it might be considered for level of detail, level of development, level of definition, which stand for different ideas, different terms. But the one I personally usually adopt is a level of development with these initials, which can be categorized into lot 100, 200, 300, 350 and 400, which is the maximum, where we get a completely constructive project with all the details. An LOD of 100 is used for conceptual modeling. Besides this, we got a lot of protocols which will allow us to structure all the information within the BIM elements, manage all types of metadata and properties. There are many different classification systems. If, for example, you are from England, you might use Uniformat. If you are from United States, you might come across something as OmniClass. There are many different classification systems you can also implement, which will not just simply allow you to classify your elements, but also to communicate the project even better. You can always manage different types of process where you can communicate the progress of your project visually, or you can create even 4D simulations within ArchiCad, detect if the elements have some type of information missing out or maybe some type of information available. So pretty much besides the graphical information, by working with metadata and properties, you can start integrating visual and non-graphical information to coordinate even more complex and advanced process. Besides this, you can always export the BIM project and share it with the engineer. With more specialized software, can import your BIM project and start generating all types of analysis, all types of calculations related to that part of the specialty. You can always use the BIM model to create all types of solar studies. You can use it to create wind studies, to create illumination studies. There are many different 6D processes you can manage. For example, ArchiCad has a 6D tool which is called Eco Designer, which will pretty much allow you to generate an energy evaluation of the project in all its aspects. Or you can use, for example, software as Ecotect, which is developed by Autodesk, in order to also import your BIM model and create all types of 6D or sustainable evaluations. Besides the 6D process, we already commented this, which is the 4D simulation. You can always use your project to integrate it with your work program, to integrate it with your Gantt diagram, which will give you insights before you even start building your project. And besides this, with software such as, for example, Bico Office or even more complex software, you can also coordinate the time for each specialty, the unit price, because the BIM model can be quantified automatically with more specialist software, and these quantifications can be integrated with the unit price, so you start generating the budget for your project. And this is something I once implemented in a project, which is also the integration of augmented reality. You can use, for example, an iPad, your smartphone, any type of tablet, or even so Meta glasses, Microsoft HoloLens, or maybe the Apple Vision Pro, to integrate augmented reality to take your BIM project and mount it within the construction site. So you can pretty much visualize everything as it was already built, to detect all types of elements, to detect errors or problems that you might come across, and always prevent a little bit more or further the decisions made in the construction site. You can always, for example, even so use your BIM model within apps such as, for example, Augment, which allows you to create a QR code, mount it on your documentation, when you use, for example, an iPad or once again the Apple Vision Pro to scan the code, you can mount your BIM project on top of your documentation and integrate 3D and 2D throughout the augmented reality process, which is quite an interesting process we can always use within the BIM project. So finally, let's put an end to this presentation with a quote I really like a lot. Real progress is what makes technology available to everyone, by Henry Ford. So if you want to read extra information about this information, you can always review these external references. Some of these go into even further detail of everything we just commented. And as always, if you got any question, if you got any suggestion, you can comment it on the lesson. And having covered the theoretical concepts for our course, in the next lesson we are now going to comment how you can register for a free license of ArchiCad throughout the official My ArchiCad site, and how you can install the software in order to start working with ArchiCad throughout the course.